focusing in word. Focus in, and I said word. Focus in word. And I just want to talk to you for a second before I get started. Throughout the last couple of weeks, I've found so many things going on. And it's amazing how even when I was studying, my mind was just going in so many places. And God was showing me, he was like, look, you have to be able to focus through distractions. Distractions come in many ways. We deal with it on a daily basis. If you think they don't, try sitting still and focusing on one thing for 5 minutes without another thought coming into your mind. They come in many different ways. Then it was amazing because, like I said, over the time, these 2 weeks, I felt God saying, hey, man, stop worrying about what's going on over here, what's going on over there, what this person said, what these people are doing, what this group said, what they're showing you. Just focus inward. I can't tell you how even in getting that word, it was still hard for me to focus. This is an important word, and I really hope you can lend your ear to me just for a few minutes. Because if there's anything that can keep us from being and keep us from becoming and keep us from doing, it's our focus. In your focus, a lot of times what you see and what you magnify. You know what this is, right? What is this? Magnifying glass. A great principle God showed me in this is this. If you're worried about what you focus on, if your mind will not stay still, understand one thing. Magnify that which is present. Listen to this. Magnify that which is present, and that's what will have rain. We were saying doing praise and worship, you have rain. God has rain. What you magnify, the thing that's present that's magnified, is the thing that rains. I want to give you a perfect example. The sun. What does the sun do? The sun comes up, as we rotate, the sun warms the earth. It does all different types of things. And so the presence of the sun, it does what it's supposed to do. It can be 80 degrees outside, or if I got a stack of newspapers and I held this over the newspapers, after a while, what's going to happen? The very thing that you magnify the sun and you focus it in a one specific place, it catches fire. It's present, but when you magnify it, it catches fire. That's an awesome thing, and I'm going to lift this up right now. What I need you to do for me, turn to Exodus 32. But this little thing he showed me, I can't tell you I thank him so much for that. Because it's whatever you allow to be around you, whatever you think about, whatever you see on a consistent basis. I remember as you turn there, I remember when I was in school, I was going back to the college thing. When I was in school, I was not focused at a point. When I got there, oh, man, I was, dead on. Football scholarship, I'm going to play. Then after a period of time, I'll allow this little thing to slide in, this distraction to come in, this girl I want to talk to right here, this group I want to become a part of right here, this place on the campus I want to hang out. And before you know it, I found myself on probation. Totally unfocused. Get to Exodus 32 because we're going to go there. I just want to give you this a bridge as we get there. Totally unfocused. And it took me to see, remember what I said, to magnify that which is present. It took me to get to my sister's graduation the year before me. And I walked in still unfocused, just looking around, just enjoying the atmosphere. Then by the time I sat down, and I saw them say, Narissa Rhodes, and she walked across stage. And what I saw, what was present, became magnified in my spirit. And I said, wait a minute, I'm fooling around. It took me to see her perform in a specific way. And that thing that I saw became magnified. From that very moment, I declare to you, from that very moment, I did the unspeakable. I did something that, I ended up that next year taking 48 hours basically in college and came out with a within that period of time, had a 3.76 GPA because it went from being totally scattered, unfocused, things over here, things over there, to drawing everything into alignment to where the very thing that was present could be magnified and focused directly in one place to where I performed like I had never performed, but I met the goal that I was trying to get to, which I had to go to the dean of student affairs to ask to take the number of hours that I took. Because he said, look at what you have done in the past. I said, doesn't matter what I've done. My focus has changed because of that which I saw what was present before me. I will now magnify it to the place where I caught fire. I caught fire. Let's look in the word. Let's look in the word where how you can lose your focus. And let's look at some of the things and how it came about. The story is very familiar with us because I want to look at three different places. And the first place will be the children of Israel and Moses. He brings them out of Egypt. Moses is up on a mountain. And I want you to look at this thing because there's something about focus where God was showing me it's a point of being fixed and it's a point of formation. I want you to get this. Something about focus is a point of being fixed and there's a point of formation and being focused. If you go to 32, and I'll read through and I'll skip and I'll say what'll follow me, so just go with me. And when the people saw, and I'm at verse 1, when the people saw that Moses delayed. Now, I want to accent the word delayed to come down out of the mount. The people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, up, make us gods which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. Go to 2. And Aaron said unto them, break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people break off their golden earrings which were in their ears and brought them unto Aaron. And he received them at their hand. Then it talks about how he fashioned it with a graven tool. And after he made it into a molten calf. Go to 5. And when Aaron saw it, get this. Remember what I said about I had to see my sister perform something before I could magnify it, before I could embrace it and allow it to be magnified. When he saw it, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made proclamation and said, tomorrow is the feast of the Lord. Now, let's do this. Let's go back. I want to lift up a few words in this area here. And I want you to think about what I said about focus. And what I said about being fixed and what I said about formation. And when the people saw that Moses delayed, here's the first thing. And I'm well ahead of myself in my notes, so let me catch up. Delayed. We're talking about distractions. What are distractions? What type of things are distractions? And I want to bring this into the now. When the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mountain, they gathered themselves. So, what would that look like today when the people saw that he delayed? There's a point of being impatient. Okay, I want you to think about something. God had done miraculous works. He didn't open the sea up. He didn't move them out. He didn't saw that the water covered Pharaoh's men and everything. So they know the power of God. They've seen his hand move miraculously to break them away from Pharaoh and his hard hand. But when they saw that he delayed, they gathered themselves. Impatience is a terrible distraction on a daily basis. And what impatience can do to you in your life, it can cause you to move out of place when it's not time to move. And I want you to see how when one distraction sneaks in, if you don't refocus it, if you don't bring it back, if you don't realign it, if you don't fix it in a formation, I want you to see how it gets further out there and how it gets further out there and how it gets further out there until you become totally away from where you're trying to go. God reigns, and we stand with him. He never goes anywhere We go places. We go round and about. We may lose focus and come back. God never goes anywhere. And the thing is, you'll run yourself to death. Running around, trying to make it work, trying to do it yourself, impatient, and you got to come all the way back to him. Think about this word. Think about, he brought them out. They was with them all. Thank you, God, thank you. Hey, wait a minute. Moses, we don't even know what happened to him. He hasn't even been back. You know what? Build us something. Build us a God. Then after he go through all of this, who do they end back up with again? With God. It's so beautiful. You can do all the moving around all you want. God never loses focus. God never says, I got them people over there, but it's never that. It's just love covers all things. We get distracted. We move around. We become impatient. Let's go to the next thing. So first, they were upset at the delay. He's went up, and we don't know where he is. Then get this. Aaron, okay, and he said, together unto Aaron, and they gathered themselves. You got to watch that. Distraction on a daily basis, in the workplace, in your family, at home. Watch the gathering of people that come with voices that don't speak the word of God. Watch that. Distraction. Those that come together, let's gather together. We're impatient, so guess what? You're impatient too? Are you impatient too? Let's get together. Remember what I said. Whatever's present, that magnifying that which is present, if it's present and it's magnified, it can set a fire. Might not be a good fire, could be a bad one. But if it's present and if it becomes magnified, that which is present, if you magnify it, whether good or bad, it can become a fire. Let's go on. And it said they went unto Aaron, and it said unto him, up, make us gods, which shall go before us. I read this in two ways. I see how it's written. But I took the language and I kind of turned it two different ways. Make us gods. So what they said is this. We know what God has done for us. We know the God of Israel. But make us gods because we're impatient and we're not getting the word that we know that he's supposed to went up on that mountain to get. So make us gods, something we can worship. But then I also went a little deeper with it. It said, make us gods. Look at the way it's written. Make us gods which shall go before us. Make us gods. You can understand that the Spirit is within us, and you can move in that way. Or you can determine, you know what? I'll make the decisions. I don't need God. I'll make this. I can make this happen myself. That's a distraction. That could become a huge distraction to you. Make us gods so that we can go before ourselves. Stand before yourself to do what? Only to come back to the Creator. Only to come back to God. So he's saying, make us gods. So, because we don't know where he is, where Moses is. Let's go over to verse 2. And Aaron said unto them, break off the golden earrings. So it's like, bring all your belongings. Bring everything you can bring. And he began to make it. And this is something that I was seeing in the scripture that happens a lot. You become pressured by those that are around you. Sometimes to move out of order. Sometimes to move in order. But the fact that when there is pressure there, that you lose that formation. You got to think, Aaron was left in charge, correct? When Moses went up, look, take care of the people. But as that continual pressure, make us gods. We don't know where he is. He went up. We're not sure what happened with him. We're impatient. So this thing caused Aaron to move out of place. I want you to skip down. Go to verse 8. This is when Moses returns. Remember what I said. Keep your focus to focus inward, to remove all distractions. Moses comes back, and the Lord said unto Moses, get thee down. This is in verse 7. For thy people which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. Remember what I said about when you lose focus, once you allow one distraction in, then there makes room for another distraction, then there makes room for another distraction, and before you know it, you are totally so far away that it's going to take a lot to pull you back in. It's going to take, like I said, a point of being fixed and reformed to be able to be brought back into focus. Verse 8, they have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. Basically saying, distractions have allowed them to be removed far away from me. I want you to go over to verse 19. Actually, verse 20. And Aaron said, 22, verse 22, he said, Aaron said, let not the anger of my Lord wax hot. Thou knowest the people, that they are set on mischief. Remember what I said about being fixed. What are you fixed on? He said they were set in mischief. So Aaron's thing was this. I was pressured because of what the people were. They were fixed in mischief, and that distraction pushed me to a place where, yeah, I built an idol for them. Yes, I know that that was wrong, and I was out of turn in doing that. The distractions of others. So I just wanted to pull out of that part of the text some of the things that allow us to be distracted on a daily basis. Now what I would like to do is look at 2 Chronicles. If you would turn to 2 Chronicles. Okay, we know the story here with Jehoshaphat. There was an army coming against him, and he was well aware of it. If you go to 2 Chronicles 20, and what I want to do is go to verse 15. You have King Jehoshaphat, you have his people. You have a great army coming against him, and you had a prophet that came to him to say, look, there's a great army coming against you. They're on their way here. They have risen up, and they are coming to take you and your people. I want you to see how that's a major distraction. You think about just in your life. You think about, a loved one passing. You think about you losing your job and you're looking for a job. You think about, I look around the country, you got fire set to a church. What do you say on that Sunday morning or when you walk up and see, hey, that's the place I serve? These are distractions, major distractions. You have little small ones, like I said, the impatient thing. But what about when you hear that there is one coming to overtake you and your people? How do you deal with it? Do you say, make us gods and make me a god because I'm impatient? Or you can respond like Jehoshaphat responded. Thou King Jehoshaphat, thus saith the Lord unto you, be not afraid, nor dismayed by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but is God's. As I was saying, you got to learn to focus inward. When that thing comes, and if you're tired right now, I'm sorry if I have bored you to this point, but shake yourself for just 1 second. When you come to that place in your life, when something is facing you face to face, and there's no way you can remove it, it's nothing you feel like you can say or do to remove that thing from your presence. Now remember what I said, that magnify that which is present. That which is present in each and every one of us is the Spirit of God. So here comes the word to him when this army rises up, and the prophet says, hey, listen, don't worry about that. The battle is not yours, but it's God's. Okay, how do you allow that to be? We've heard that a lot of times. The battle was not mine, it's God's. I'm going to turn it over to God's hand, but we still might be impatient. The battle was not mine, but it's God's. How do you allow it to happen? Okay, this is how. Verse 16, tomorrow go ye down against them. Behold, they come up. And he tells them where. Here's the thing about turning your focus inside and magnifying that which is within you. That when you sit still long enough to get the instructions, everything else bombards your mind and you can't actually get it. It's going to be hard to know when, where, how, and just to relax and know that the battle is God's, it's not mine.